what I always tell people or remind people is those strategies are used at other phases of your marketing funnel, right? Like referrals and reactivations, you do need to have that in place. But Blake, I'll let you speak to like, how far does that typically get a gym owner when it comes to like, hey, I'm only relying on my bring a friend weeks, my referral bonus programs, my reactivation campaigns, my events that I do? Like, how many people is that actually bringing in reliably month over month?
You're an inspiration to our entire organization.
Welcome to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast. We're going to be talking the done-for-you marketing and sales strategies proven to work with boutique fitness gyms to increase quality lead flow and grow your revenue. Don't try to be a professional marketer and waste tons of money. Let the experts at Lasso do it for you. And now, here are your hosts, Blake Ruff and Sherman Merritt.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to an episode of the Gym Marketing Made Simple. Today, we are going to talk all things marketing. We're going to debunk some things. We're going to give some value. And again, guys, we're just here to really just tell the truth. Even if we're not the best solution for you, we want you to know what the best is and then what truly the marketplace is saying based on data, not on stuff that happened in 2012, 2019, but things that are happening today and what we're seeing. And most of all, that like in this day and age, like marketing is essential. Marketing is I have been looking for a monitor and I've been searching all over ChatGPT, and things are evolving. It's not Google. It's not going to be Google in the next 6 months. Things are going to be different than where it is now. And so today we want to jump right into it. I got Tommy here. He is the data king. And Tommy, so go ahead, take us off, man.
Yeah, so this episode today, guys, is coming from a place or in response to an episode put out by Two Brain Business in regards to why marketing agencies are failing gyms. So we're going to unpack that a little bit. I've always said, like, I think differences can be sorted out if we all just kind of got on a podcast and talked about it. But until that day comes, Blake and I have to hop on here and provide a counter narrative to what's being put out into the ecosystem so that our clients, and we do share clients with a lot of different mentorship companies, we're at least giving you a 360-degree view or like perspective on information, just so it's kind of like, hey, if there's someone that feels strongly about this, we can provide a counter narrative. You can decipher and make a good decision for your business, right? So one of the first things that was brought up was the fact that, Blake, these marketing agencies are kind of like fly by night. They're like, hey, like they prop up out of nowhere. They're around for like 12 to 18 months. They can't figure out how to acquire or keep clients. So then they end up like rebranding or liquidating. Or I guess 3 people have approached Chris over at Two Brain to see if they'd be willing to sell, which I understand. You and I see those ads all the time. Fill up your gym, 50 members in 50 days or whatever, right? Maybe provide a counter narrative about you and Sherman's success with Lasso, how long you've been around, and how it's not fly by night, and how you guys built that very intentionally.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll go way, way back. I got super interested in StoryBrand, right? And it's crazy, and I don't want to go too off topic, but listening to Donald Miller, if you repeat something enough, you can get anybody to believe what you want. Marketing is very, very persuasive. And one of the things I remember him saying that really stuck in my head, he would never join a presidential campaign because he knew that words can have a massive impact, right? And if you really go back, and this was right before Trump, and I'm not going into politics or anything like that, but the MAGA phrase, or Make America Great Again, it was so simple and so memorable, right? And to think that marketing doesn't have a massive impact on the world and branch that down to local is just crazy. So that really got my foot in the door of like, wow, this can have a massive impact, but I want to do it in a way. And I'm not saying I'm just saying compared to other agencies of gimmicks and free, and like, I think that Hormozi is one of the smartest individuals. And I think what he did during the time, like, is what he knew that worked. But since then, things have evolved. And great storytelling is problem oriented and solution driven. And to say that doesn't work would just break down at a fundamental level, because that's how everything works, right? Like presidential campaign, the world is like a mess. Like, hey, we can make America great again. I can get on board with that, right? And many different things, like a grass company. I always use this: lawn care. You have the worst. You want to have the best lawn in your neighborhood. Yes, I want that, right? All of that. Or maybe you don't want to spend the time fertilizing and doing all those things. All of it is, that's just marketing. That's marketing as a whole. Paid marketing is just saying, I'm going to get it further out. That's at the simplest root of it, is how marketing works. So backtrack, 2019, that was 6 years ago. Wow. Even before that, probably it's about 8-9 years ago, got really big into marketing. I was one of the first marketing guys, other than two people, at a big marketing mentor company, and learned marketing really quickly and became kind of the go-to guy. Realized the gym owners, like, just like you said in a text message the other day, the first thing that mentor companies teach you is like the value of your time, right? Mm-hmm. Go hire a cleaner. It's not a great time of your time just spent mopping the floor, right? When you get to a certain stage, and we think that stage is about 15,000, you should know the value of your time. And let's be honest, I would even say your money, because testing is super expensive. And the reason why most gym owners think that paid marketing doesn't work is because they actually don't realize they spent $500 on a test that didn't work, because they don't understand the fundamentals of marketing. But then realize that gym owners did not want to learn how to do this. They just wanted to hand it off, the high business IQ ones, right? And so I was like, man, this is really something. No, these people don't want to do it. And this is like, around the Hormozy days, where Hormozy was still teaching people. And I was like, I could just do this for people. And it took off really quickly. And and times have changed. And that was during the time when we started this, that like the old days of like, I can put a post up and all my 1,000 followers are going to see it, right? And I know it's thousands of people in my area. That's even changed. So really, the creative narrative that's gone from like just putting up a post because nobody in your area is marketing and I can reach them. Now you have competition. Now you have massive players of franchises spending anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 a month of paid ads. And I can just do some quick math here. Let's say they're getting an average cost of lead of $20. They're getting 100 leads. If they close it at 10 to 20%, they're getting additional 10 to 20 clients a month. But I would say on top of that, they're getting the trust of the area by getting their name out compared to right? So evolution, basically we realized that marketing isn't just marketing. You need sales as well, sales training. Another reason why people don't succeed in marketing as a gym, because Susie's best friend sold Susie and she brought her in as an organic traffic. When you do cold traffic, everybody thinks they're low quality leads, but the truth is they don't know, like, or trust you yet. There's 40 different options of things to pick from. You have to bridge that gap really quickly, or the decision-making process might just go longer. And as time goes on, attention span goes down. So you're battling attention span, getting to know, like, and trust them, plus on competition. So things are just so different than it was in 2016 to 2017.
Yeah, I love it. And we'll further into this, we'll get into like why we think paid ads is the mechanism to get your gym to the next level. I'll put some data behind that so people can start to have like, hey, here's where it makes sense. Here's when it doesn't make sense, things like that. One of the things that I think sometimes people confuse, and you had brought up, gym launch, Alex Hormozy, and they automatically associate utilizing an agency and the tactics of that agency. I think maybe the first place to start, Blake, after, kind of a background on Lasso, let's separate those two and let's talk about the benefits of working with an agency. What do you get by utilizing an agency versus testing on your own? And then we'll unpack, okay, whatever tactics you want to use, that's regardless of the agency. Let's just start with the value of an agency. What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, agency, they're like, number one, they're professionals, right? Like, or I shouldn't say they're all. What you need to find, well, let's take a step back. How should you vet out a good agency, right? They have the data, they've spent the money, they can show you up front, this is how much we spend, this is our average like conversion rate based on our clients, rather than we hear it all the time of a gym owner be like, oh, I'm just going to hire this person in my gym that does advertising. And they may do e-commerce. Totally different thing. I hate e-commerce. I hate doing e-commerce. They're not in the lead gen market. It's totally different. And they should be upfront enough to say, I don't know if this is going to work, but it's going to cost you. You're probably going to have to spend $2,000 before I can even tell you if this is going to work. Right. And that's where I would say the benefit to an agency compared to doing it yourself. A good agency can say, hey, like at Lasso, we spend $80,000 to now $105,000 a month. We know the cost of conversion, the cost of cost per lead in general, so we can give you really clear data. Whereas if you did it on your own, you need to spend 3 to 5x for like your average your ARM. So if your ARM is like 200, before you even turn off one ad, you need to spend 600 to 1,000. And usually you need to do that about 5 to 10 times before you find something that really wins, right? So you're already 5 to 10K in doing it on your own. And now some people be like, oh, stole somebody's stuff. Well, good for you. But I would say it's not just the marketing, it's the funnel itself. It's the workflows. It's the language. It's all downstream. It's the sales process. It's the offer. It's more than just putting an ad up. An ad is at its fundamental, but it's everything that happens after that as well, if it's a good marketing agency.
Yeah. So for our listeners, guys, like whether you work with Lasso, you work with another agency, you get economies of scale in the sense of quicker feedback from the marketplace in regards to what's working and what's not working. I think maybe even Alex Hermosia said, unless you're spending $100 a day, any data you're gathering from your ads is just noise. Like you can't even conclude whether or not something's working or not. So whether that, like I said, like guys, like whether you're working with us or somebody else, there's benefit in just having, hey, you've spent a lot of money testing stuff, a lot of different markets. And when something doesn't go well, or when you need to pivot, we're able to make decisions faster, which ultimately benefit your business faster, versus you sitting there every week trying to tinker with, hey, I'm not sure what's working. I'm looking at data, but I don't even know if this data is reliable because I'm not getting enough like exposure to the market to give me feedback. Right. So that's number one. Okay. That also kind of like, I've heard marketing agencies recently, like putting out like, hey, we're going to teach you how to run your own ads and then you can go out and do it. And again, like I push back to say, yeah, but guys, like, again, unless you have a very high marketing budget and you're like Blake and you enjoy doing this stuff, I don't personally, I just don't, not to be rude to Blake, it's just not worth my time to do this for my gym. Like I would rather be solving other problems for the gyms. That's where there's value there. Okay, so remove tactics from agency. There's value in working with an agency, and to Blake's point, a really reputable and a good agency that's going to take good care of you. Now, breaking down the issues, one of the things Chris was talking about was like, well, you're working with these agencies, and man, like 17% of gym owners don't even call leads, and they're not following up with people. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not the agency's problem, Blake. Right? Like you and I go into this like we're not Pollyanna about like, hey, like we can't do the work for you. Okay, like we're going to get you at bats, but you still got to follow a process. And hell, we're even going to train you on how to do that process, but you still got to show up and be the ones to implement it. Do you want to talk about that real quick in terms of like usually when it doesn't work out with us, it's not really a marketing issue. It's you're just not doing the follow-ups and calling people and
being lazy and think they're going to sell themselves. Like I always say this, right? Like when you opt into something, do you purchase right away? Probably not. You think about it, you sit on it, and then if there's no follow-up, then you're probably going to forget about it. We tell people flat out, the ways this does not work, if you can't sell, we can't come sell at your gym, right? If you're a bad salesperson and you are not great at talking to people and not making you feel comfortable when they're sitting in front of you, Or if you take more than 15 minutes to get back to people, it's not going to work. And we're flat out honest. Like, so I totally 100% agree. But if you're taking 15 minutes to get back to your leads anyways, you're not going to be successful, no matter if it's organic or anything else. Because if I'm in a buying state of mind, I'm not just opting into your gym, I'm opting to 3 other gyms. And the gym that gets back to me the fastest is going to win. For example, we're going to have her on soon, the gym at the Rocks Birmingham. And she came from an Orange Theory world. And I was like, hey, what's your follow-up process? She goes, on top of the automations, we call and text every other day for the first 14 days. So 7 manual touch points in the first 14 days, right? And if you're not doing those things, look at that first. Because, for example, I took my son to a free Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. I never got a call back from anything. Guess what I've been doing? Not doing anything about it, right? But if they would have followed up with me, I'm like, hey, I can come unlimited, probably 2 times a week would have worked better. I would have already signed up by now. But there was 0 follow-up. It's like, oh, they'll buy if they want to buy, right? And no, that's not the case. I'm a very high, it's not the cost of the service, nothing like that. Nobody's followed up, so I don't have to make a buying decision. So yes, I 100% agree. Do not run Facebook ads, do not run any ads. And I would say your conversion rate's going to be lower anyways if you're not following up with people.
Well, all that to say, that doesn't mean that agencies and paid ads can't work for you. It's like, no, like fix the leaks in your sales system first, and then look to us as an amplifier of those systems. And again, like sometimes I think we're from what I was hearing from that episode, it was like we're mixing different issues that make this whole experience of paid advertising not beneficial for the client, which I understand, but I'm like, let's pause for a second and actually separate what the actual issues are. To your point, Blake, like even if you don't run paid ads, if you're not following up with people, you're just not going to be successful in any type of marketing. Website opt-ins, if you're not following up with people, it's like it doesn't matter, right? So then, like I usually tell this part of the story to either prospects, leads, sales calls, all of it, and they'll say, "Well, I don't want to be the person that's having to do that level of follow-up for being able to grow my business." And I was like, "That's fine. Just understand that the other funnels, marketing funnels that are available to you are only going to get you so far." So, and I'll give you a couple examples, Blake. So like, there's other ways for you to market. We obviously talk about referrals and reactivations. We talk about building your organic audience. We talk about content. We talk about SEO. We even talk about like Google AdWords. And what I always tell people or remind people is those strategies are used at other phases of your marketing funnel, right? Like referrals and reactivations, you do need to have that in place. But Blake, I'll let you speak to like, how far does that typically get a gym owner when it comes to like, hey, I'm only relying on my bring a friend weeks, my referral bonus programs, my reactivation campaigns, my events that I do? Like how many people is that actually bringing in reliably month over month?
Yeah. And I always said this even when I was with that mentor company. If you're relying on other people to grow your business, how horrible of a marketing plan is that? And how stressful is that? And if you're listening to that and you can resonate, like, yeah, I don't know when my next referral's coming in. I don't know when I can get somebody back in, or I got to run a bring a friend day every quarter, but that only lasts me for 1 month. And you average that over the course of the year, and it doesn't make sense in sign up wise to combat your churn. It just simply is a wrong play. And like, and you know this better than everybody, like if you go to sell your business, you have to show how you can grow. Mm-hmm. If you have no plan for growth, it's not worth anything. So if you went to go sell your gym and you're like, here's the last year, and they're like, okay, you were at 25,000, you're still at 25,000, your value of your business goes dramatically down. If you're not showing a 10 to 20% growth every year, why would they invest in it? Other than they think they can put money on it and you go faster, right? But that's what they're going to do. And it makes no sense because that's what somebody that's coming in and see like, oh, this is stagnant. I see you have that's actually a great analogy. Somebody that buys a business and sees that this business is stagnant, what do they usually do? I see they have the bones of the business. I'm going to pour money and gas on that to grow. So why the heck are you not doing it? Right.
Yeah.
And I would say if you're just building this gym to like have a job, cool, whatever. But like if you're actually building this to sell, you have to show that it's growing, that like it's an investable business. And if it's not growing and you have no marketing plan, a real investor or somebody that's like interested in it is not going to do anything with it. So, and to your question about like how many signups does it equivalent just like doing organic, it's 4. Like I went through 10 months of 100 clients before they signed up, and it was 3 to 5. So like 4 clients of just doing organic. And the gym, which would be about like a 3% churn to 5%, is 100 clients, because that's 3 to 5. So like this isn't complex. Like I like to simplify things, and I can get super geeky when it comes to like Facebook ads. But you're going to come a break even point. Like it's 3 to 5 and you're going to have 100 clients, right? Now, however much you charge those clients, if it's 200 a month, that's 20 grand, 150, 15 grand. So between that 15 and 20 grand is where you're going to get stuck, right? And now there could be unicorns. Like there could be people like they're the only CrossFit gym in town, right? Sure. Or like we talk about, they're in the middle of BFE and nobody knows and they have no competition. Yeah, you probably can grow faster because you're the only option. But if you're listening to this and you're in a more urban, you have 5 other gyms in town, people have more choices, it's going to be that situation because you're going to have to pay to play.
Yeah, correct. And so then, not to say, guys, like you shouldn't have referrals and reactivations. It's just like, to Blake's point, that's going to get your business to a certain level. And if you're solely relying on that, you're not going to be able to grow past what that ceiling is. So it should always be a part of the business. It should always be a leg of your marketing stool. It just can't be the only leg. So then the next place people go, Blake, is like, well, let's just build our organic audience. Because if they start following me on Instagram and Facebook and I start posting every day and I'm doing organic content, those are going to be warmer leads. They at least know who I am. You want to speak to the limitations of that as well?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, back in the 2015-16 days, that like the algorithm was like, you post something, all your followers see it, right? Now what happens, and you guys have seen this, like, and here's the thing I say, like everything I say, like just go look at it. And I'm not going to give you hypotheticals. Like this is real life stuff. Like when I say, hey, how do you react to ads? How do you, when you pull up your Instagram or Facebook, see things? You see people that you don't follow. There's a reason for that. So when you post something, it puts it out to like a 10% of your audience. Do they click on it? Like saves and shares are the top 2 things. Likes and comments just don't matter anymore. Like they just really don't. Like comments are a little higher, especially if you form some engagement. But saves and shares, like you share it too because they're like, wow, that was good enough to share. Wow, that was saved because that was important and they wanted to look at that later. So they take that 10%, and then here's what happens. They push it outside of your audience to other people with the same interest. Not even your audience, right? Like maybe it'll go another 10, 20% to your regular audience, but that's why you can't just put up a post anymore and be like, I know 2,000 or 2,500 people are going to see this post about whatever it is, this bring a friend. Yeah. So like you actually... the algorithm itself is hurting your organic traffic. And I would say on top of it now, with Google and everything like that, Google reviews, all that stuff, I'm not saying it's not obsolete because it's important. Like chat's going to still pull from there. But a lot of people now are saying, let me take that, or I see that ad, and let me go to ChatGPT and then ChatGPT about strength training versus X, right? And then they're going to ask like, what, for example, like I'm looking at monitors right now. What's the best monitor for what I need? And ChatGPT already knows everything that I do. And if it doesn't correlate and your website doesn't have good information and even your Facebook page, then it's not going to pull that. So I will say, I am not saying by any stretch of the imagination, organic is not important. Organic is super important to build trust.
Yes.
Right? Like if your posts aren't great, even if I put up a great ad and your posts are really crappy, you can't sit there and say that I want a $200 to $500 a month client and you're posting $3 content, right?
Yeah.
Like you just have really bad content. It's not shot professionally. And I'm not saying you have to get a videographer or anything like that, but it's got to be good quality stuff that it looks like I would spend $200 to $500 there. I can't fix a problem of your own gym of what it looks like by the content that I push, because and here's again, think about the way you react to ads. When you see an ad about a product or service, do you go to the Facebook or Instagram page and judge that page by that? And then you equivalent in your mind the value versus the post in the content. Mm-hmm. Is it worth $200? And does the content match that? Does it look like it? And if not, mm-hmm. you're not going to go there. So that's where there's so many intricacies when it comes to paid marketing that people just think, I'm going to put up an ad, I'm going to gain a bunch of members. No, if you have then I think at the fundamental level, a lot of these people would actually agree. And we're telling you, we agree that you need quality Instagram or, social media content. You need a quality CRM and you need speed to lead. You need a quality sales process. You need all those things. And that's when you hire a marketing agency to say, I have all those things. I think, and Tommy, you tell me if I'm wrong on this, or you disagree. I think the fundamental problem in the gym industry right now is gyms that have those things, their mentor is saying, just build more of those things and do this thing, right? Do this organic. When they've done all that and just no, just keep running the play. No, I'm getting outbeat by everybody over here that's pouring gas on the quality already. And I'm just stuck in this.
I think it just depends, right? So you guys got to remember, we don't need virality in order for our gyms to be successful. Most people are only traveling 1/4 to 3 miles to our gym. That's how big our audience needs to be. So I think if you're spending an inordinate amount of time and money trying to be Alex Hormozy, where he is speaking to the entire world, I think you're also lighting money on fire. I don't think it's not the most efficient way to build the audience of the people that are actually going to attend your gym. We have a former client, Blake, that's based in the Northwest. I'm getting his posts and they're cool. I am never signing up for his gym. It's not going to translate into actual signups, but it's cool. So just something for you guys to think about. Not the most efficient way to build, the audience of people within who you're actually going to serve. But to Blake's point, it's going to accelerate the building of trust once they're actually in your funnel. So then the other thing, and we kind of already addressed the content side of it, Blake, it's dude, I could spend hours every week coming up with I got my own video studio and I got these email marketing campaigns and all this stuff. And sometimes I think people think because they can control those things that it's actually going to lead to more signups. I have been following a pretty basic organic social play, and my business is growing by 25 to 40% year over year. I'm not having to spend an insane amount of time writing emails every day and doing all this stuff. It's more about touch points and being personal. And to your point, Blake, once they actually show interest, getting them in as quickly as possible. That's it. Not me writing another email about how to lose 10 to 15 pounds over the next 3 months. That's just not going to move the needle. You can recycle that after a while. That's all you need to do. So guys, all this to say, you need all of these channels, but it's only going to get your business to a certain place. So then Blake, we get into a discussion of they're all terrible leads, low quality leads, poor leads, only go after the quality leads. Or I would much rather do tabling events or in-person events and all this stuff. Guys, I've run the numbers on this. The amount of time, effort, investment to run your high rock simulations, do your tabling events, you could have just spent $500 and probably acquired the same amount of lifetime value doing paid traffic. So anytime someone tells me Facebook leads are low quality leads, I'd rather just go do 6 tabling events this month. I'm I bet you if you calculated the cost of your time, I could create the same outcome with less effort, a lot more ROI, right? I get it. You feel better because you're in front talking to people, but the numbers just don't stack up. Guys, there's no easy way to get around this. If you're trying to get into colder traffic to make yourself more aware, these are the rules of the game. If there was a better way to do it, easier way to do it, we would do it. It doesn't exist. So anything you wanted to add to that, Blake?
Yeah, those people that say that, like, Facebook leads are low quality, I would agree. Like,
they are.
But the reason that you think they're low quality is you're not taking into account the high quality they're doing the research and going to your website, right? Like, the lowest quality is going to be people that opt in immediately. The highest quality are going to be people that sit on it, that think about it, and then they go to your website and then they opt in. But you're so strung up on, like, I gotta only, like, you hear from your mentor company, you need to take your sources and you need to do your conversion based on each source. It's always going to look horrible. But
terrible.
Like, Super Bowl commercials coming up, right? Let's say, I don't know what's going to come out. Bud Light. I saw Peyton Manning's going to be on a Bud Light commercial with Post Malone and all those guys. If they spend $1 million on this, right? They're not standing at the checkout line at each beverage store and alcohol or liquor store being like, hey, did you see the Post Malone commercial? All they're going to look at is the top end revenue number. Did it increase? It baffles me that we think the gym industry and a business should be any different than the biggest companies in the world. And we think that we need to be like, oh, Facebook leads. Like, again, think back to what I'm saying. You see an ad. Let's say it's something, let's use an analogy that, like, a gym, a sauna, right? They see an ad for a sauna because they want to do recovery now in saunas. Do you purchase that sauna day one? No, it's a big investment. Probably anywhere from $2,000 to $12,000, right? I know somebody just posted about it in our Slack channel. Then you sit on it. Then you'll start seeing the ad, right? You're not going to purchase off the ad. You're going to go do your research. And then you're going to go to the website. And then you're going to purchase later on. But what drove you there was the ad itself. Why do you think, if your purchase behavior is X, why do you think a lead is going to be any different that's Y? If they're looking for high-end PT or small group or a premium gym for group model that they're going to spend anywhere from $180 to $250, which is a decent investment per month, why are they going to click in and buy in day one if they value their money, right? So, like, you guys got to stop believing these mentor companies. If you just think the way that you think, it would be the same thing. And it boggles my mind. So, like, and then if you think about it this way, say you opt into that sauna company and they never reach out to you. That buying purchase length becomes 10 times longer because you have no urgency. But if they call you, hey, Tommy, tell me about your needs for your gym, man. What are you thinking about? Oh, I'm thinking about putting a sauna. Okay, cool. What do you need this for? Hey, here's the best option. Great, man. Hey, I got to think on this. Hey, can I follow up in like 3 to 5 days and we can talk about this some more? Cool. Yeah, let's schedule a call. All right, great. You get back on a call. All right. The buying, the purchase behavior, and the length have shrunk down dramatically. Now, if he doesn't contact you or just one initial contact, super long, right? Or just emails. And this is where, like, you, me, and somebody else have tested like blue messages. Here's another thing I put on top of it. There are just so many layers of why anything can go wrong. Sales, anything, lead, right? When I get a green text messages, what do you think automatically?
Yeah, it's a bot.
It's a bot, or it's just a business. It's just automated, right?
Yeah.
So that's another layer of just like interaction that's not going to happen. I automatically know I can say stop at any time, get opted in. Correct. When I get a blue message, which I'm not plugging, we're getting no money from any, like, this company whatsoever. A company called Link Blue, we've integrated into our high level, and we've seen a 30 to 35% response rate on new conversations. That's 1 out of 3. So, but if I send you green and blue, if I send you 2 green ones from a company and then a blue comes in and says, hey, Blake, this is my number from Lasso. I just want to check in, man. You have any questions? You're going to think it's a real person because it's blue. And people think that we can, like, bypass this, like, psychology that's been embedded to us forever just because you're running paid marketing. It's just not, it just falls flat.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing, guys, is like, if you think about like someone who's purchasing a service to the tune of multiple hundreds of dollars, like to your point, Blake, I can probably buy a $15-$20 item directly through Facebook, and I don't need to do a whole lot of research because the cost benefit to me is like, it's $20.
There's no
you
risk.
Know, whatever.
Who cares?
There's no, literally is. Yeah.
Single month.
If the ebook sucks, okay, that's fine. You know, like it's not that good. $300, like if we're talking like serious stuff, like guys, why would you expect them to not do more research and go out and actually check stuff out? You know what I mean? So you and I will unpack this in a separate episode, Blake. I think it'd be beneficial for me to like dissect your brain and be like, hey, this is why we run lead forms, conversion ads, what you give up with that, what you get with that, why it makes sense at this level. Like, let's unpack that on a separate episode, but let's keep moving here. So like one of the things, Blake, that is kind of hard to talk to gym owners about is if you decide to work with an agency, and I've done this on a podcast episode, I said, guys, like, I get that you're frustrated that you feel like we're not being custom for you. There's a reason for that. So like if I'm saying one of the pros of working with an agency is like, hey, we have a lot of data on what works. In your mind, just being direct, what do you have to be willing to give up in order to get access to that? As a gym owner, what do you gotta be willing to give up?
I guess I should just say it bluntly. You're not a unique unicorn. Like, I don't have a brand. We do $2 million a year. I don't have a brand. Like, unless you're doing $3 to $5 million a year, a brand is when you see the logo, you get a feeling. That's a brand. Red Bull is a brand. Coca-Cola is a brand. If you don't have a brand, you don't need to care about your mess. I shouldn't have said it that way. You should care about your messaging. When I say messaging, that's on your website, what you're putting out on your organic, things like that. Your awareness needs to be all problem-based, your ads, right? Like I just saw down on Miller put, most of your stuff should say you shouldn't have to feel like X, right? And that way you understand the problem they have. You know, like we just started ads about like different job profiles, and like you're sitting at your desk all day working IT and your fitness is sliding because 8 to 10 hours a day you're just sitting behind a screen and staring, right? Or you're a business owner and you care about everybody else getting all these jobs and you're stressed out with work, and while your fitness is just sliding down the hill because you have no time for yourself, right? Those are problem based. And then you give the solution. We have X, right? Those don't fall flat for any gym as long as you're talking about the right problem. And then where you insert different gyms is, okay, what problem do you solve? Your small group, this is how you probably solve it at a higher level of accountability, schedule, and personalization. Group, you're solving it on more wide. You can cast a wider net, and then you're solving it more so for, you know, people that are just looking for some regimen. They want to go somewhere, get a little accountability, but programming as well, right? Yeah. But most of all, let's be honest, all of these problems, the main thing that they're trying to solve is lose weight or gain strength, right? Yeah. In most situations. And then the layer deeper is how do you resonate with each one that they feel why that is the cause of each one, right? I'm losing strength because I'm doing X, Y, Z all day. I'm taking care of the kids. I don't have any time for myself, while I'm gaining weight because I'm running around and I'm not the priority anymore. They can resonate with that, right? So I say all this to say, when you start writing custom copy, what you're doing actually is you probably are trying to talk about your brand or what you think your gym is unique. Nobody cares why your gym is unique. They care that you can solve the problem they have. Because when you start talking about yourself, you put yourself as the hero and not the client as the hero, right? And if the client is not the hero, they don't listen. Yeah. Right? And that would be the premise of it. And lastly, I have to come and tell you, hey, Tommy, I hear you want to run custom copy about District H, man. You really want to go towards like the 30 to 50 year-old like mom or business owner.
Yep.
I need you to be okay with spending $200 to $2,500 extra in ads and making no money. Are you okay with that? And if it's the answer is no, and here's a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm okay because it'll be on brand. And then you go a month with very low leads.
Yep.
And then you cancel the next month when I've already gave you the risk, but you didn't want to listen because you wanted to be unique. Going back to the very beginning of this podcast, the reason we test things every 3 months, we're coming out with new stuff. We're looking at what's working in the industry, and then we're testing it with our own money, and then we're deploying it. Like I heard a guy say the other day, like, this is very generic. And I'm like, how is it generic when I'm talking to moms, IT professionals, all these different ones that I'm calling out the problem? And I'll let you, the last thing I'll say, you are not your audience. Right? Stop worrying if you resonate with it. Nobody cares if you resonate with it. Do your leads resonate with it? And that is by opt-ins and signups.
I'm going to say it a slightly different way, Blake. It's kind of like there's aspects to the ads, you guys, that really matter. And there's aspects that don't matter as much as you think it does. So like, I'll give you an example, right? Like if you're scrolling, you got about 2 to 3 seconds to capture someone's attention. Once you have their attention, that's where the copy and the offer really matters. So going back to what Blake's talking about, like, can you actually speak to them directly? And the whole goal of the ad, you guys, is to have them take action, whether that's opting in, whether that's going to your website, whatever it is, that's the next action. So sometimes I think when gym owners are like, but those aren't my pictures, that's not my gym, we don't do that here. You're running an ad calling out men, but there weren't any men in the videos, like stuff like that, you guys. It doesn't matter as much as you think it does. It matters that it stopped them. It matters that they started reading, but it only matters for about 10 seconds. That's it. So they're not going to remember what the picture looked like after they've opted in or moved on to the next step. So if you're worried about like, well, they're going to come in and it doesn't look and feel like my gym, I'm like, they're not going to remember. That's not the point, right? Just wanted to add that piece to it, just so it kind of brings people into like, hey, it's really like a 10-second engagement to get them to take the next step.
Yeah, nobody's going to come into your gym and say, where was that person on the picture, right? And I get it. Like, I get it. You want people to walk in and see the same thing that they're seeing on the image. I totally get that. And I will say we will test your own images, right?
Yes.
And we'll put it like, and I say this every single time. I hope that your images beat ours. I hope they do, right? That means it's more in line with your gym. But I will say again, that's where it's going to spend money on what we don't work. The big problem becomes like, you hired us to make more money. If you say, I want all my images, now I don't know if the copy isn't resonating with the area. I don't know if it's the images. Like, there's a lot more problems. You can only change one thing with an ad to know if it works, right? And so if I'm changing multiple things, if you're making me change the copy and the images, I can't go back to you and say which one doesn't work.
Yeah. We're bumping up on 45 minutes, Blake, so I'm gonna bring us home here. So like, the last thing I want to say, you guys, is like, if you're in a circle or a mentorship group that's saying never do this, this is why this sucks, I would pause and I would probably ask the question of like, is it possible that they have a bias, or maybe they're just misinformed, or maybe they're just assuming a lot of stuff about how agencies work and what strategies look like in 2026? And is that actually in your best interest or not? Because I'll be direct. I work with Lasso. I work with Blake. I get a podcast episode as to why gym agencies are failing gym owners. Within 5 minutes, I get an email talking about how I need to run high rock simulations and create other channels and do all this other stuff to change my business to capture a certain amount of revenue. And I think that's like, it's just funny and it's hypocritical to me, because it's kind of like, hey, don't do this, but completely change your business or run other things or invest time and energy into creating other revenue streams to go capture more cash just because you don't want to run paid ads or you don't like paid ads. And guys, I'm telling you right now, like, the more you stretch yourself into like, hey, now we're a high rocks gym and we do a kids program and we do like 6 different variations of like programs and you're just chasing shiny objects and looking for revenue, I would ask you to pause. I'd probably cut out 80% of that and say, just get really good at running the main thing and put a little bit of amplification around it. And I can get your business to a better spot than you chasing 8 different ways to serve fitness to people. Okay. That's the last piece I wanted to say, Blake. So with all that to say, guys, sometimes the issues with the agencies, I'll be honest, Blake, like some agencies, yeah, they're not working in the best interest of the client. I think we try to hold ourselves to a certain standard to really deliver that for clients. I've seen a lot of value in working with paid advertising for my business. I work with clients every day that have seen a lot of value in running paid ads. And I always say, like, there's different levels to the gym ownership game. If you're hearing, hey, chase the shiny objects and keep doing things in 4/9 model and all this stuff and your business isn't growing, that's your time to pause and maybe ask a different question or go surround yourself with a different group of people. Anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, and I think the only thing to add to that is, like, just so you guys, like, we're not, well, if somebody says never, it's usually out of fear more than anything. Like, usually in most cases, there's something for everyone. Like, it's like, so like, hey, should I hire like an organic marketing manager? That's a great idea. Probably just not right now, right? Our best clients are actually ones that came from a mentor company. I know that certain clients get to a point where they've reached the pinnacle of that mentor company and they don't have anything else to give them. So they're afraid to lose them, right?
That's right.
Where you can always just put more gas on the fire with marketing. I'm not saying you need to go get XYZ more, but there's also points that you come to us and we're like, we're not the best fit. Like, you have no systems and processes, right? You need to actually go to the mentor company. That is the foundation. Once you have a foundation, you got to build the house, right? Then you got to fill it with people. I always say this, it's not the Field of Dream days. Build it and they will come, right? Like, 2015, like High Rocks is kind of what CrossFit was like 10 years ago. Like, people are just searching for it more, right? And that'll die off too. And then, but our High Rocks gyms are already running marketing. So if you're in a group and you're feeling like, I am doing everything they're saying, and yes, they have helped me, there's nothing wrong with saying, like, it's like if you're on the best team and you're the best player on the best team, right? Or on a team, it's probably a time to find a different team, right? And to be higher level people. And I think one point that you made on the side, if you go through our gym builder, if the average, it was put out, the average gym makes what?
$50K
per month, or not ours. I'm sorry. The average out of everybody that like.
Yeah. No, average makes like 17 to 18K. Yeah.
17 to 18K. And then our clients are $50,000, right? That should show you the game that we're playing versus the game they're playing, right? Yeah. And if you're stuck between that 15 and 20,000, there's probably a reason you're stuck. So that's the last tidbit. Tommy, anything else to add before we go?
No, guys. True sign of professionalism is knowing when you can help somebody and when you can no longer help somebody. And if you're good enough to make a referral somewhere else, that you're a true pro. So that's the only thing I want to say.
Yeah. So if you guys enjoyed this, save it, share it, give us a rating. If you guys have any questions, book a call with us. We'll tell you if we're a good fit or not. And so hope you guys enjoy this, and we'll chat soon.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast with Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks. We hope you enjoy. We believe marketing should increase revenue and not waste money. So book your free call today. Head on over to lassoframework.com. That's lassoframework.com and find the right words, get more customers, and increase your revenue. We'll see you here next time.